was buying my first house, I had this whole 20% down. I don't want to pay CMHC. I don't want to pay Genworth. That's an extra $10,000 or $15,000, even $20,000 of money I don't need to spend. But I found, and it wasn't because I was frivolously spending, the prices of the properties increased faster than I could save.
Right. Hey everyone, it's Lawrence Mack here for Remax Realtron, here again with Lucy Gagliardi, mortgage agent from Oz Capital. Thanks for joining me today, Lucy.
Thanks for having me again.
You're welcome. Today we're here to talk about your down payment. A lot of times they always say to put down maybe 20% down on a house and that kind of thing, and then I guess a few questions are, what happens if you have more than 20% down, and if you can't afford the 20% down, do you have other options less than 20%? So if you could talk about those details, that'd be great.
Definitely. So first and foremost, I think it's really important to get into the housing market as quickly as possible. So essentially, from one perspective, it's really important to have 20% down. From another perspective, I really do believe that our best options are to get into the market as soon as possible. Just to
get into the market, even though it might cost you a little bit more.
Yes, well, it'll cost you a little bit more from one perspective in terms of mortgage insurance from CMHC and Genworth, okay? But you're earning equity as you're paying down your mortgage and as the value of the property increases. And we all know the value, how much properties have increased.
They've increased a crazy amount, and it's all tax-free, so it's all good.
Exactly. So, firstly, when I was buying my first house, I had this whole 20% down. I don't want to pay CMHC. I don't want to pay Genworth. That's an extra $10,000 or $15,000, even $20,000 of money I don't need to spend. But I found, and it wasn't because I was frivolously spending, the prices of the properties increased faster than I could save. Right. So, you save for 1 year, you still have 5% down. You save for a second year, you might have 6% down, but the properties have gone up 6%. Yeah. So it's neither here nor there. You're really no farther ahead, and you have made every effort to save, and you're working really, really hard to save all of the money that you can. So that's one perspective where I really believe that it's very, very difficult to save up faster than the value of the properties are going up.
I think so as well. So if somebody had not 20%, but they only had, say, 5 or 10%, what is the process for them to try to either qualify for a mortgage and to get a house?
So essentially, if you have 5 or 10% down, when you're going to your mortgage agent or broker or you're going to your bank, what will happen is you basically are going to pay a mortgage insurance. So it's going to be through CMHC, Genworth, or Canada Guarantee, and it's going to be based on how much your down payment is. So if you have a 5% down payment, you're looking at about 4% plus GST, okay, for these costs. Now, the benefit is that you can put the majority of those costs into your mortgage.
Okay, so I don't have to come up front with 4%.
No, you don't have to come up with exactly.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So that's a really good option. But if you have 5 or 10% down, you kind of fit in this square box, right? And what's happening is the lender is, whatever the bank or the financial institution, they're looking at your file and decisioning your file. But so is CMHC and Genworth. Okay, so you've got two different companies or two different sets of eyes on
your numbers.
Your numbers, where you work, how long you've worked there, and a huge number of different factors. That's not necessarily a bad thing, okay? But again, the process involved is they're just scrutinizing your file a little bit more. Does it mean, based on the cost and the extra scrutiny, that you shouldn't do this? Absolutely not. I really do. I'm a huge advocate for home ownership. My investments and any money that I've ever invested in real estate, and I'm a pretty conservative investor as well in terms of RSPs and mutual funds and that sort of thing, but the majority of my wealth, not that I'm a wealthy person, but the majority of my wealth has come from owning real estate. Yeah, so I think that is that's huge. And the longer you wait to get into real estate, the harder it becomes.
Right, because it just keeps going up in value. That's right. You got to get on that roller coaster.
You do. And And then there's restrictions with mortgages as well. I mean, it's been all over the news. So I don't want anybody to be afraid to ask the right questions, as intimidating as it can be, especially as a first-time home buyer. But at the end of the day, it's about finding out what you can do. If you've got 5 or 10% down, talk to somebody. Find out what you can do. The worst thing that they can tell you is you got to wait a year.
Yeah.
But if you've got 20% down, why do you have $100,000 or $120,000 sitting in your bank account doing nothing for you?
Mm-hmm.
Put it in something that is going to
appreciate.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds good. So in summary then, if you got less than 20%, let's say 5% down or something like that, then it's got to also be insured by CMHC or Genworth or Canada First.
Canada Guarantee.
Canada Guarantee would be the third one that's got to insure it. And then so there's two different organizations looking at your numbers. One is the actual financial institution that's actually looking at the actual mortgage. And the second part is the insurance on it so that they guys can guarantee it up to the 20% or whatever so that you can get in the roller coaster of the real estate game.
The roller coaster it is.
That's really the goal. Well, if you have any questions about mortgages, you should go talk with Lucy.
Thanks, guys. It was a pleasure to be here, and thanks so much.
You're welcome. Thanks, and see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.